The message is actually quite straightforward. You are responsible for the mitigation of your own cruelty, and note, mitigation is not the same as eradication, and having progressive opinions doesn't automatically do that for you. What's interesting is that almost everyone who tries to create conflict with me when I say that responds not to my message, but to the thing that they are scared I might be trying to trick them into. I'm interested in how you define cruelty. Is it cruelty to make people who you are criticizing the behavior of uncomfortable? To insist on accountability that does involve unpleasant consequences? If your willingness to stand up for people being abused and disappeared makes your Facebook friends feel attacked, is that cruelty? Because if so, I think you've confused goodness with politeness, and I think that's a really dangerous point of confusion. Why would you think that that's what I mean by cruelty? What about my video gave you that impression? When I talk about cruelty but do not give specific examples, why is your instinct to assume that I have a very weak definition of cruelty? The reason I picked this comment out in particular is because the existence of my video actually answers your question. My video is an insistence of accountability, and it is one that I know is going to make people uncomfortable. Some may even feel attacked by it. The consequence of coming face to face with yourself is unpleasant, and I am knowingly pushing people towards that unpleasantness. So clearly that's not under my definition of cruelty. My advice is to go back and watch the video again, and this time, instead of assuming that my definition of cruelty is radically weaker than yours, assume that it's the same. I use the word cruelty without giving definition, specifically so that you can engage with it on your own terms, so that you can consider what about my message feels true to you in relation to what you consider cruelty to be. I know this wasn't your conscious intention, but by creating a fantasy of what I mean when I say cruelty and then arguing with that fantasy, you've sidestepped the opportunity to actually engage with the message of the video. It's exactly the same as the people who are assuming I must be talking about liberatory violence, and so they create conflict with me based on that. But how could that possibly be the truth? Who would I need to assume my audience to be if I expect them to think of liberatory violence when I talk about their casual cruelty? Why would I assume that the people watching my TikTok are on the verge of a violent revolution? It doesn't make any sense for people to assume that that's what I mean and that's what I'm talking about. But their assumption allows them to build conflict with me instead of actually engaging with what cruelty means to them and how it manifests in their everyday life.